and today I'm going to be doing my very first video post, which I'm super excited about because I've been wanting to do this for a while now. So I thought for my first video I have to do my peanut butter cookie dough brownies because it's the recipe that got me on the Food Network and is definitely one of the most popular recipes so far. So, and it's a good timing because Allison in my lab, who's a graduate student, is having her birthday tomorrow, and she requested a peanut butter and chocolate treat. So usually I actually bake the brownies in an 8 by 8 inch pan. But one of my favorite tricks to make a recipe, a little more elegant for a party is to take a normal recipe that goes in an 8 by 8 inch pan and instead make it in a tart pan. So then it just makes it a little bit more pretty and perfect for a celebration. Okay, so to make our peanut butter cookie dough brownie tart, we're first going to have a layer of a nice chocolatey brownie in the tart pan, and then a layer of edible peanut butter cookie dough that doesn't have eggs in it, and then a lovely chocolate ganache and some chopped peanuts on top. So you start with your tart pan. This is 10 inches, and you just want to spray it so that it's non-stick with this Baker's Joy. I like this one because it has a little bit of flour in it too. And then you also want to heat your oven to 350. Alright, your next step, you want to take half a cup of unsalted butter and 2 ounces of unsweetened chocolate. And whenever I'm making brownies, I like to use a really nice chocolate, so here I'm using Ghirardelli. Definitely don't get anything too cheap, because that definitely affects your quality. And what I like to do is break it up into little pieces and put it in my measuring cup. And then I microwave it on high for a minute, stir it up, and then microwave for another minute until the chocolate and the butter have both melted. Alright, so here we have the chocolate and the butter, which I microwave for a minute, and I've stirred it together so it's smooth. It will take 1 to 2 minutes depending on how hot your microwave is. And the next thing we're going to do is add in the vanilla extract. So it takes a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and whenever I'm measuring anything, I always do it over a paper towel in case I go over, like I did right there. And then you just make sure that the extra doesn't go into whatever you're adding it to, so you get the correct amount. So that goes right in there, and I'm going to stir it together. And I always like to let this sit for about 5 minutes before I add it to my brownies, because they're going to be eggs and sugar mixed together in the other bowl that we add it to, and you don't want to have scrambled eggs. So let that cool for about 5 minutes after you microwave it. And we'll move to the next step. Alright, so now that our chocolate and our butter is ready to go, the next thing we're going to do is add a cup of sugar to a large bowl. And then we're going to add in 2 large eggs. And I always break my eggs into a smaller bowl before I add it to the larger one in case I get a piece of shell in there, or if for some reason, the egg is bad or bloody or something like that. So we'll add those in, and then we'll stir this together until it's nice and fluffy. Alright, so now we've stirred our eggs and our sugar together until it's nice and fluffy. And now we're going to add in our chocolate. So you can just pour this straight in and just try to get all the chocolate off the side of your cup. And now we're just going to mix this until it's smooth. This is a great brownie recipe because you can just do it in a bowl and you don't have to have a mixer. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is measure out our flour. So, a very important thing about measuring flour is to make sure that you fluff it up a little bit with your spoon, and that you spoon it into your cup and then level it. And this is because the flour, will start to sit. And if you add too much flour, then that will end up with a dry baked good. So make sure you spoon it in and then level it off perfectly. And in this recipe you need a half cup of flour plus 2 tablespoons. So you can put that right in. 1, number 2. Perfect. Alright, and then the other things we need are just a half a teaspoon of baking powder and half a teaspoon of salt. And so I usually just add these right to the top. I kind of sprinkle it around right on the top there so that it becomes well mixed when I stir it in. And again, we'll just measure this on this. Alright, so we've got our flour and our baking powder and our salt in with our brownies. We'll stir this until it's smooth again. Alright, so here's our nice smooth brownie batter. And the last thing we're going to do is add in 3/4 of a cup of semi-sweet chocolate chunks. Just because, you know, the more chocolate the better. So we'll stir this in and then put it in our tart pan. Alright, so now our brownie dough is in our tart pan. We're just going to spread it out to make sure it's nice and even. And your chocolate chunks are evenly spread out as well. And now we're going to bake it at 350 degrees. Alright, so here's what the brownie portion of the tart looks like when it's done. I baked it for 20 minutes at 350 degrees. So with your oven might be a little bit different than mine, so I would check it at about 17 minutes. And then of course it's done when you insert a toothpick in the center of the brownie and it comes out clean. So you want to have this cool to room temperature before you put the next layer on top. So I usually will cool it on the cooling rack for about 30 minutes to an hour. And while you're doing that, you can prep the peanut butter cookie dough. Alright, so now we're going to make the peanut butter cookie dough, and of course this is eggless, so it's perfectly fine to eat. And this is the star part of the recipe. When I was younger, I loved eating cookie dough, and I just love it. It's so good. So in the bowl, I have a 1/4 cup of unsalted butter, and this is at room temperature. And you can see I mixed it a little bit. And if your butter's too cold and you forget to put it out to warm up, one trick I like to do is to cut it into little pieces, and then I stick it in the microwave and put it under the defrost cycle for about a minute or so, and then usually you'll get this nice consistency. That's a little trick. So yeah, you put your butter in the bowl, and then you're going to add a 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar. And mix that up just like you're making cookies. Alright, so now my butter and my sugar have been creamed together, and next we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of milk and a 1/2 cup of creamy peanut butter. Now for the peanut butter, I recommend something like Jif or Skippy. I really like the normal peanut butter, not the organic kind with oil, you know, might come out. I've never tested that with this, so definitely get the commercial brand. Alright, so we're just going to mix this all together, the peanut butter and the milk. And basically, the trick to eggless cookie dough is that an egg is about 1/4 of a cup if you take an egg and whisk it together with a fork. And so basically, you can make any kind of cookie dough you want egg-free if you just take the same amount of milk as your egg. So this is like a 1/2 batch of cookie dough, so I put in 2 tablespoons of milk, but if it's doing a full batch, I would then, of course, just put in 1/4 of a cup. Alright, so in here we have our butter, our peanut butter, our sugar, and our milk, and now we're just going to add the flour and the salt. So I've already measured this out, and this is a 1/2 cup of flour plus 2 tablespoons plus a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So when this comes together, it should look like cookie dough. Alright, so this is what it looks like when it's done. Sometimes I do add a little bit of extra flour if the consistency isn't quite right, but I think this looks pretty good. So next we will spread it on top of our tart. Alright, so here we go. We're going to put it down, and our tart is nice and cooled. I'm going to get every last bit of cookie dough out of here because it's so delicious. We'll leave a little bit so I can lick the bowl. Okay. Alright. Get this all in here. And then sometimes it's a little bit sticky, so you can put a little flour on your fingers if you need to. Just smooth it out, depending on how it's going. Alright, so here's what your tart looks like when your peanut butter cookie dough layer is on. And next we'll make the chocolate ganache to put on top. Alright, so now we'll make the chocolate ganache, which is actually really easy. All you do is take 3/4 a cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips, and then a 1/4 cup of heavy cream. You're just going to pour the cream on top of your chocolate chips. And then you just microwave it for a minute on high. So I usually microwave it for 30 seconds and then give it a really good stir. And then microwave it again for an additional 30 seconds and then stir it until it's smooth and your chips are completely melted. If you need to, that can then microwave a couple more times at 10-second bursts. All right, so here's the ganache, nice and smooth. And we're just gonna pour that right on top of the tart. Super easy. I don't know why people are scared to make ganache. So yeah, after I spread this out, we'll then stick it in the fridge for about an hour until the ganache sets. And then it'll be all done. I usually do put on some chopped peanuts on top as well for a nice little garnish, and it gives a nice extra little salty bite to it. But unfortunately, I ran out today. So hopefully I'll have time to get it tomorrow and put them on before the birthday girl sees it. Of course, this always happens, you know. I decided to make a video and then I run out of an ingredient, very typical. But what can you do? Alright, perfect. So into the fridge it goes. Alright, so here's our tart. You can see the ganache is set. It's nice and shiny and pretty. And now we're just going to take it out of the pan. So the tart pan, you just push up from the bottom and it should just come right out. It did. And I'm going to show you Apollinaris' trick for getting the bottom part off. So of course you have the bottom part of the pan here. Hopefully you can see that. And it's important to take off because if you don't, then when people are cutting it, they can make knife marks on it, which I hate. So we'll do Apollinaris' little trick. So basically the trick is to take a piece of dental floss and you just are going to wedge this underneath. Alright, so here's the finished product. My peanut butter cookie dough brownie tart. All ready for tomorrow's celebration, except I'll need to add the peanuts, of course, which I managed to forget. But I hope everyone enjoyed my first YouTube video. I had a lot of fun making it. So thanks so much, and I hope everyone has a good day. Bye. Alright, so I just wanted to show you a picture of the final tart. I'm at work right now and I managed to grab some peanuts at 7-Eleven on the way in. So here's what it looks like when it's all done. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Alright, bye.